I mentioned a little bit about the current production nickels, and I'm going to go into a little tidbit about that you might find interesting about the current nickels. Besides the price, some things are about to change possibly. I'm going to talk about the 1942 to 1945 Jefferson silver nickels. They were 35% silver, 56% copper, 9% manganese. This is right off of coininflation.com. I'll post a link. They got some good information. And well, another friend of mine, he buys these sometimes, and he says, on eBay, a lot of people don't quite realize what they're selling them for. Pretty interesting. So I guess, something becomes too knowledgeable, then a lot of people jump on it and the price adjusts accordingly, and that's the market, right? But they give a good calculation, talking as of March 28th, 2012. An ounce of silver spot price is this, and doing a calculation, they got it calculated $1.82 just for the silver in a silver nickel. And now 1942 had both types. It had the silver nickel and a non-silver nickel, right? Just be cautious about that. Not everything I'll go into that too. But $1.82, and then if you add in a copper, it's $1.85. Now, in 1942, there was both types minted, the non-silver and the silver, and the mint mark location is important with the 1942 nickel, as silver alloy and non-silver alloy were minted. Only the ones with the large mint mark above the dome are the valuable silver nickel, and this is this mark right up here, right above the dome of Monticello. Thomas Jefferson's house, he had Monticello. Anyway, it's also interesting that, copper was in such short supply during World War II. They put silver in coins. Now, I'm going to kind of jump onto something here. This was from Smedley D. Butler, a U.S. Marine Corps, Commandant in the Marine Corps, twice Medal of Honor winner. He wrote, "War is a Racket." Now, this is basically published information from his speech he made, and he talked about, how a lot of people encourage war because it's very profitable. But, not that anybody's going to prevent anything, but something happens, you might as well profit from it. And I almost kind of think that way too. But, for instance, copper is one that goes up greatly during a wartime or a building industry time, boom times, right? And so, like, for instance, Anaconda copper, which was around back then, in World War I, from the years preceding World War I, there were $10 million profit, average yearly earnings, and then they went up 3.5 times during the war years, 3.5 times. Also with nickel went up greatly. International Nickel Company, profits increased 17 times during the war times. Now, this is another reason to protect yourself with commodities. Not necessarily as a get-rich type thing, but in times of war, all essentials are going to be up a lot in price. So you need to protect yourself. And this is possibility. Maybe this is coming up. At some point in time. And it's another factor to consider in precious metals market. Another thing, steel nickels. Now, this is an article. I'm going to post a link on it, coincollectingenterprises.com. And they're saying goodbye to the copper nickel, steel nickels. They got legislation introduced that the nickels possibly in 2012 are going to have steel. So you no longer be able to get 75% copper nickels. And that makes a lot of sense. What happened in 1982, that was the last year for the 100% copper penny. And they went to, I think it's 90% zinc. So a penny is worth a heck of a lot less than it was before as far as metal content goes. Now, one thing I want to point out about these nickels from World War II, the silver nickels, 1942 to to 1945. And remember, the 1942 nickels in World War II, some are silver 35% and some are not. It depends on that mark above Monticello on the back of the nickel. If it's got the large mark, that means it's the silver one. Now, you saw the price on $1.85, including the entire melt value of the silver and the copper. And if you look here, this is actually from coinstudy.com, and they're probably using a little bit outdated values here. You know, I think that they got probably a very good site, but it's not updated with the spot price. And here they're showing that a nickel is worth 1943, $1.26, right? Uncirculated 342. I mean, you're not going to find that. If you find that, fine. But $1.26, and actually the melt value today, spot price, is $1.85 for copper and silver. So I think this is possibly why sometimes in eBay you find deals where they're below the spot price. And you know, for people that want to invest in some types of metals without going into too much money, I think this is a pretty slick idea. And like I said, a friend of mine has been doing this. For instance, you know, you got 40 Silver War nickels, 72.40, top rated seller. Now there's no bids on that, but who knows? I mean, that might be the price you get, and that might be just a little bit below spot. For instance, 36 War nickels, $65. That's, you know, free shipping. Not bad, 100% positive feedback. This might be worthwhile to search out because, according to somebody I know, you know, he's got some like American Silver Eagles up in Illinois, whatever the hell it is, and they're in a safety deposit box. But right now, while he's down here in Florida, what he's doing is buying these nickels off eBay. And he told me that a lot of times people do not realize exactly what they're worth. And, you know, I would assume that anybody who's a coin dealer probably is going to know what they're worth. Now, I looked up on Amex. Amex is significantly more than a lot of the vendors are selling for on eBay. But, you know, also the flip side is you're not 100% sure of what you're dealing with when you're on eBay. You know, sometimes you know, there could be a problem. But usually when you see this top-rated seller, you know, top-rated seller, 100% feedback, nobody bid on this, it's free shipping. So if you put a bid in there, it's got 10 hours left, maybe you'll win this. That looks like a fairly decent deal, you know, to me. Because you're getting it right at probably spot. That's approximately spot price. But there's times when there's things below spot being offered on here. And this is one area that people are ignoring. Now, if some of the things happen in Iran, if there's some of these things happen, I'm not sure if they're going to happen. I kind of think they are. Just assume that a couple metals that are going to go up a great deal is going to be copper and nickel. So, you know, also look at any types of coins that contain a lot amount of copper, which is the standard nickels today. And if you're looking for silver coins and it's like not a, you can't find too many deals, these 1942 to 1945 silver, 35% silver nickels are worth about $1.85 as of today, March 28th, Wednesday. So, you know, if you're looking on eBay, sometimes they're selling them for below $1.85 with free shipping. And, you know, proven vendors with 100% positive feedback and that type of thing. So there's some deals to be had if you look around. I don't know if I want to bother with this too much. I will pick up some more of the standard nickels that are from being produced today that are 75% copper. But I'm not sure about doing this, but I know a friend of mine is into buying these, and he says you can typically find, you know, coins below the spot value. But also beware that sometimes, like this is a collector coin, right? You might, you know, to me, unless you're somebody very knowledgeable in the coin industry, you want to avoid the collector coins normally, because that's, well, that's up to person if they want to do. I'm just saying about getting 27 war nickels junk silver for silver content, and here's a particular price. This is probably about spot, but sometimes you can find them below spot on here, and it's a pretty good deal. It's another angle to look at. It's the wartime nickels, and it seems like eBay sometimes offers some pretty good things on it. And also to review again, sometimes the sites put some of the old values on here, so people don't know exactly what they're worth. And also the new nickels that have 75% copper, that were from 1946 to 2012. There's legislation pending to make them steel inside, so we might see some changes on that, and you won't be able to get them anymore.